Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. I'm Salad Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, Frankie. Today you are number one. Welcome, Lou Rock. You are number two, and Brina, you are number three today. Okay, I am going to get started. Okay, so today, I am doing well. I am doing well, Lulu Rock. Thank you for asking. Today I want to talk about love. Hey, silly. Well, let me put it like this. Do you think love is silly or is it just pleasant? Is it complicated or is it simple? So, what do you think? Is it something that well, I don't want to say, is it something that we tend to put too much effort in? And when I say effort, I mean, you meet someone, you like them, supposedly you fall in love with them, but I mean, are you really in love with this person? Are you just really in like with this person? Do you just really, really like this person? Is love an emotion that we can do without? I mean, is it overrated? Is being in love different from just loving someone? So I hope I'm making sense. You know, people fall in and out of love all the time. Okay. You have the chemistry. You have to uh, be able to, be with that person day in, day out. Um, and then when I say, is it overrated? Because one day people wake up and all of a sudden you're not in love with this person anymore. All of a sudden, the person who you marry, you're looking at them across the breakfast table or across the dinner table, or you're in the car with them and you're looking at them and you're just saying, I don't like this person very much, or not even like this person. I don't love this person anymore. My feelings for them, when we first met, 5, 10, 15 years ago, was different than they are now. And people who have never been married have told me that most marriages probably should only last like 10 years, because in 10 years the way you feel about this person is not the same. That it takes a lot of effort to really stay in love with the same person for 50 or 60 years. You know, so do you think that's true? Do you think that love, after a while, the steam runs out of the word, that you may still really like this person, or you're able to get along with this person, but you don't really love this person anymore? Or again, I say you're in love with this person. So what is the difference between loving someone and being in love with someone? Um, you know, uh, I guess you can say in love is with someone that you're in a relationship with. Loving someone could be your child, your mother, father, brother, sister, whatever. But just the word, um, what does it mean? Does it have different meanings for different people? You look at some places where, you know, some places a man is able to take more than one wife. Does that mean that they love wife number one any less than they love wife number three? Or do they just love wife number two more than either one of them? You know, that word, again, is it overrated? Okay, Lurock says absolutely not overrated. Um, Let me go back. Love is wonderful. Brina says love is pleasant. And she also says, I think there's a difference between romantic love and love in friendships and family. Okay, so Brina, let me ask this. Okay, Lurock says I'm getting my box. Oh, you guys do make me laugh on this show. Okay, get your box of tissues. Love should be effortless. Okay, now we're starting to sound like a Hallmark card. We can do a movie pretty soon. Okay, Brina says, "Oh yes, people definitely change. I think you can fall out of love with someone romantically, but still have love for them and care for their well-being." Okay, so Brina. Okay, so does that include people that you're married to? So if I'm married, like my husband and I, we've been married for 20, almost 25 years. So um I can honestly say that I love my husband. Um but I've gotten on a comfortable level with him. Um am I lovey-dovey with him the way I was when we first met? No. But when you say you can fall out of romantic love with someone, does that mean that if you're married and you've been married for a certain amount of time, that you're not in love with that person? And Lurock says love has a different meaning. Lurock says I am a Hallmark kind of man, and I don't care. Uh, well, Lurock, I will say I do watch. I do watch Hallmark movies, and there are a few that I have saved on my uh on my, what do you call it, on my direct TV or whatever you call it, because I do go back and watch them because yeah, they do, some of them do make me cry. um wow, amazing, congrats, thank you. But uh, you know my parents were married for 60 years until my father passed, and that's a long time to be married to someone. And sometimes I would just look at them and like, I'm looking at them like, you know, because my mother was a difficult and complicated person. And sometimes I would look at her like, how did my father stay married to you for so long? So when we get to that point, love and being in love, and you're with the same person. I mean, again, I go back to what Brina said. Okay, she says, I think sometimes people switch up their life goals and somehow grow apart. Okay. But if people grow comfortable together after a long marriage, I still think they're in love. Hmm. Okay. All right. But are they let's see, welcome the only crazy lazy lazy. I'm sorry. The only crazy lady, Petty Deb and ARF. Welcome. Um Different generations, marriage doesn't have the same meaning as it used to. Okay. So, Brina, even if you grow comfortable with someone, I'm not saying that you still don't love that person, but are some people just comfortable and they're not really happy with the situation, they're just comfortable. And when I say that, I think that when you look at divorce, um, I think that men are more surprised when women want a divorce than vice versa. And I say that because I think that men are the ones that get comfortable and they think that I think men tend to think that everything's fine when it's not, where women are more aware of what's going on, in their space. So if a woman went up to her husband and said, "I don't want to be in this marriage anymore," a man is shocked. So when you get comfortable, I do believe that you can be comfortable and still be in love, but I also believe that some people just don't feel like doing anything about the situation, that they may not be as happy as they would like to be in their relationship. And Crazy Lady says finding that one person to put up with you. Uh, I don't think growing comfortable means falling out of love. Think when you fall out of love, it's because you change as a person, what you want out of life. Okay, but Brina, you said sometimes people switch up their life goals and somehow grow apart. Okay, okay, but can't you still? Okay, I'm going back. I'm reading your second point. I don't think growing comfortable means falling out of love. Think when you fall out of love, it's because you've changed as a person. But wouldn't you change anyway? I mean, if you've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, aren't you changing anyway? I mean, don't people change as an individual? You're not the same person you were when you were 20. You're not the same person you were when you were 30, 40, 50. I mean, people change. So you're going to change anyway. When I am separated from Ross, I miss him. I want to be happy. Okay. And Crazy Lady, how long have you been married to Ross? Okay, yes, I agree with you. Lou Rock says I was married and had no choice but to get married. We hate each other. Um, and we hate each other after a while. It was way too toxic to continue. Okay, I did a show a couple of months ago on arranged marriages. And I'm just thinking about what Lou Rock says. I was married, I had no choice but to get married. So I think about the people who are in arranged situations. And we had someone on the show who was from India and she was in an arranged marriage. And I think she had been married for 20 years and she said that it worked. So Brandon says, yes, people change. You can grow apart because of it sometimes. And Lou Rock says, get divorced. Okay. And Petty Dip is saying, greetings to Frankie. Okay. So, I mean, what do you guys think? So, Crazy Lady, welcome. You have the mic. So, what do you think about this conversation here? And welcome, Nepal. Crazy Lady, you there?
I was talking and I wasn't even on the mic.
Okay, well
um,
you have the mic now.
uh, I don't know. I mean, it's like I love Ross. I mean, I put up with his crap and he puts up with my crap, and we really don't like being separated. Uh, I mean, come this June, we'd be married for 3 years, but we were together for 13 years before we got married. So, I mean, we argue, but very rarely. You know, it, I mean, we're comfortable with each other, but we do love each other. I want him to be happy. That's all I want for him is happiness.
So, do you think there's a difference between being in love and loving someone?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think aren't they the same in a way?
I don't think so. I think when you are in love with someone, I think that, it's like this person is your sun, moon, everything. And you just, I mean, they are the people that you cannot bear to, be apart from. I mean, you are just, you just have so much, your heart is just full with this person and loving someone. I mean, I think it could be the same, but, you know, um, you would be in love with your husband. You wouldn't be in love with your mother or father. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's a different type of love, though.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think when you're in love with someone, I think it is a different type of love.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's why I say, um, I think that when couples get married, whatever, I think it is possible that you can live 50 years with someone and you're still in love with that person. But I think after time, when you get comfortable, that in love feeling, that giddy in love feeling goes from being I'm not necessarily in love with you anymore, but I love you. I'm trying to make sense. I know what I want to say. I just think that they're two separate emotions.
Is
Um,
that giddy in love feeling, that feeling like you still, look over at the guy and say, "Oh man, you're still the most handsome devil I ever want," and
yeah, I
want to
mean,
ravish
they're
you?
people. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, then
there's
yeah, then we're still in love.
okay. Okay. All right. All right. You know, I was watching a TV show. I'm not going to say which one because you all will start laughing at me. But one line that the guy said, and this phrase has just stayed with me years after this show. He says, "I look at my wife. I mean, they have been married for like 30 something years." He says, "I still look at my wife and I just burn with so much love for her." And that line, I was like, wow, that that some people just love someone with an intensity that it's just different from. I mean, that's someone to me who is in love as opposed to just loving someone. So, crazy lady, let me ask this: when does being in love with someone or loving someone turn into an obsession? And is obsessive love really love? If you're obsessed with someone to the point where, dude, you need to back off, or hey, hey girl, you nope, you just going into the crazy territory. When does being in love with someone or loving someone become obsessive love? And welcome Made Man Crucible and Chill Wheel.
I
You
I would think that if someone would like have an obsessive love, it would be there like at the beginning, So either you're okay with that kind of love or you're not. And if you're not, then there's probably a reason.
But do you think obsessive love is at the beginning? I mean, when you meet someone and okay, so you really like them, or they like you, or you all are just in that, you want to go have lunch, you want to go to dinner, you want to go have a couple of drinks, you want to do this, you want to do that. Um, do you think it is at the beginning, or do you think that obsessive love could be something that after you guys are with each other for a while, then that person tends to get a little bit clingy, and then they turn into, if another guy looks at you, he's ready to kill you, or the girl's ready to claw the other girl's eyes out just because she said hi, or whatever. I mean, is obsessive love at the beginning? And Crucible, I see you're supposed to be on my panel, but I do not see you. Oh, let's see. You may want to leave and come back in. Oh, he did. Okay. So hold on. Crucible. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see you. Okay, so crazy lady, are you there?
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't know, some people like that obsessive stuff, They like guys that are just, that like insane. And vice versa. Some guys like those girls that, get all nuts, if some other girl even talks to their husband or boyfriend or whatever, you know. I
Yeah, but
personally wouldn't be able to deal with that kind of behavior.
I don't, I don't think many people would. Lou Rock says obsession can be in the beginning and can last all the time too. Brina says that butterflies in your stomach feeling is fine, but obsession can turn into an issue. Okay, so I'm going to put this out there. I will throw it to Crucible. Let's see. Hold on. Brina says obsession is not love. There should be no possessiveness in love. And Mate Man says when you see yourself, can't do without that person. Okay, obsession is bad. So welcome, feisty one. So so at what point do you think that obsessive love is the same as possessive love? So, Crucible, welcome. You have the mic.
Everyone. Yeah, that's a great question, Solid. It's been a long time since I've done any reading on this, but I've been in a number of relationships in my life where I was in love and started to question my own sanity and my own, maybe I don't know about obsessiveness, but evolve into a deep weed conversation. I think it's worth noting that there have been a lot of studies done. I read really recent Wall Street Journal about the correlation between love and mental illness. And scientists have done scans on people in relationships, and they have found that there's like what they would call a chemical storm. I don't know if that's the right term or not, but that being in love causes changes in the brain that are very similar to serious health problems or drug addiction or obsessive compulsive disorder. So people say that at least temporarily, people do, I'm not going to say go insane, but they idolize this person. They put him on a pedestal. They can do no wrong. I've been in that position, so I am not speaking from a position of critique. I'm pointing the finger right back at me. And there have been times where I thought this woman is the woman who has ever lived. I've never met anybody like her. She can do no wrong. I don't care if she took a crap at State and Madison at noon on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm in love with this woman. She can do no wrong. And so I think when it gets to possessive and obsessive, we're probably talking about the same chemical storm. So I believe there's a very, very verifiable correlation between temporary mental illness / irrational thought and being in love. And when you're in love, that irrationally, you want to own that person. You want to possess them, not necessarily malicious.
Okay, Crucible, you are going in and out.
Okay, I don't know what's happening. I'm sitting in the same spot, so I'm sorry about that. But you want to own that person, not in a malicious way, but you care that much about them that you want to possess them. So I think possessive and obsessive are probably the same thing, because I don't think you would want to possess something that is not possessible, if that makes any sense. So I think there's some serious correlations that scientists are finally starting to pay attention to, that we actually literally period of time lose our minds when we're in love.
Okay. All right. Um let's see. Let me read some. Hold on, guys. I saw. Okay, Lou Rocky, you made a comment. You had a comment. I'm scrolling because you guys are doing. You guys are talking so much in the chat. I'm trying to keep up with it. But Lou Rock says love is a chemical imbalance. Frankie says hello to chill. You have to behave yourself today. Yes, you do. Welcome, Jester. Welcome. Um, okay, so I go back to my original question then. When you're in love with someone, okay, you meet this person, you think they're just it, whatever. You meet this person, are you obsessed with them? Does that mean that you're obsessed with them because you just really want to be around this person constantly? So at the beginning, I'm not saying that you're crazy, but I'm saying, can when you meet someone at the beginning of a relationship, are you somewhat obsessed with them because you like them so much? Welcome, Chill.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Am I supposed to answer that, or are you going? I don't
I
know.
mean, I just said, well, welcome, Chill. If you want to answer it, then answer it.
If okay, so it was a lot to unpack. You saying that the dope. So, all right. The first question was about just being upset with people, right? In a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I heard. Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
for me, I mean, what we talking about? Toxicity? Because I know I've been in a couple of them.
Oh, Lord
I've been
have
in a couple of them
mercy.
relationships. We talking about just toxicity, like that.
I'm
Liking
gonna have
someone
to
can
have a
create that.
show on. I'm gonna have to do a show on attention span because some people just don't have it. But that's okay. We will work with you.
Uh,
We will work with you.
I mean, I'm just
No, I
trying to
mean, okay, okay, okay.
keep the initial thing going
Okay,
before I go into.
okay. Let me start here. Do you think love is overrated?
That's a good ass question. Petty Dad said digmatized. Yeah, you can get be coochie matized too. Um. Yeah. So love is overrated. Love is overrated. Love is overrated. I think I don't think it's overrated if it's real love. You know what I'm saying? Now, lust and love are two different things. We all often think we've been in love, but I don't know if I've ever been like in true love. I've never met a person I just was like, oh man, I was head over heels for. Maybe once, but they were taken. Actually, maybe twice, but they were like it's both times taken. Like I hadn't touched, I had to have to touch them. They were just perfect in every way. I felt like, but they were taken, and I was in the military. So, um, yeah, you kind of learn love by going through relationships, but you don't know. I mean, to be called overrated now, I don't think it's overrated. When you find somebody awesome for you in your life, that's nothing overrated about that. I mean, it just to get find that fit. It ain't got to necessarily be perfect. Just that fit for you. That's just hard though. Especially the older you get set in your ways. So yeah, um, but setting your ways still ain't a bad thing, right? Because you learning yourself, you know yourself, and so that's why I say a fit. If it was for everybody, everybody be with somebody. I always say that. Like if it was that easy, if soulmate was just everywhere, it would be, you know, you know, everybody be with somebody. So you got to work on relationships, right? You got to kind of mold yourself to each other without losing yourself. And so if you can do that well, or just meet your soulmate, I don't think nothing's underrated about that. So short answer and long answer.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this short answer, please. Do you think there's a difference between possessive love and obsessive love? And is it even love?
Hell yeah, it could be love. When you in somebody that much, they feel like they don't want you to have, they want to cut off you. Yeah, never mind. But listen, yes, that's a love. It may be a sick love. It might be a toxic love, but it's still a love. And I think it's possessive and obsessive can be different because you can be obsessive with somebody but not want to hurt them. Just I mean, that could be both at times if you're obsessed. It can be possessive, but I don't think they're mutually just exclusive. I mean, possessive love can be that's toxic. When you're talking about obsessive, I'm just into this person so much, you don't necessarily want to hurt them. I think possessive means you might want to hurt them if they don't do what you like.
But if you're obsessed with someone, doesn't it mean that for the most part you want them to do what you want? What you want?
Oh,
What,
oh, that's just how. I mean, I like them. I'm into them in every way. So typically, you want them. I think when I think obsessed, you might be obsessed with them, but so anything they say, like it's like I've been in these situations where somebody just they into you, and so no matter what you say, they'll be like, I'm like I don't know if it's gonna work out because you ain't a good cook. Oh, you know what? I am. I ain't a good cook. Let me get better. Yeah, you right. You know what I'm saying? Or it's just no matter what you say to them, it's gonna be segued to like, all right, we're gonna make this work. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's an obsession. Like no matter what he say, I'm down for it.
okay,
You know
but
what I mean?
okay, but chill. Okay, but I don't think I would want someone to have an obsessive love of me, because to me you're getting into that dangerous part. You're getting into that you're a little bit crazy part. You're getting into that are you so obsessed with me that you know if I want to go hang out with with my girlfriends, or go to the movies or something, whatever, it's like, where are you going?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, it gets into that whole stalker type, even if it is your husband or wife, they start to do that stalker stuff, so
Well,
when you
so
get
you
that
had that
possessive.
situation?
I've had
Uh,
a situation where I had to, it got dangerous.
Oh well, you shouldn't have put it on him like that. Then I don't know what you got over there, but you didn't mess that
I
man. You
mean,
didn't
I
ruin
mean,
that
I
man's
mean,
life. That's your
but
fault, Solid Blue.
okay.
You ruined
Oh
that man's
Lord,
life.
here we
You
go.
don't do that to people. You just don't go
Here,
around doing that to people.
oh
Keep that
Lord,
stuff to
here we
yourself.
go. Oh my God, chill. What am I gonna
Out here
do, chill?
ruining
What I
homes.
gonna do? What I gonna do? Oh Lord.
But no, that's how it be though. They can take you there. Like I'm telling you, those type when it get intimate and it's like that can take you there. Like my mama always said that you can't do everybody the same. Cause some of these people out here crazy. So you can get one the basics. So you get the one that you're supposed to be with, you can go all out with that one, but be careful because if you do, that's gonna be your ass, son. And so
Wait, I have that.
I
Okay,
didn't
Petty.
listen.
Okay, hold on. Petty Deb says, "Solid blue sister, you nasty." How am I nasty?
She is. It ruined that man's life. She nasty and man, she all of that. She ruined that
Oh,
man's life.
come on. Oh, come on.
She
And
was outside
Brina, stop.
on
Just
her back
stop.
porch.
Bri-
It was cold, wasn't it? She was on your back porch, seeing what she what she doing. You ain't cooked dinner today, did you?
Oh, Rena,
You
you
went
need
out
to
for dinner. Who you went
see,
out with?
Rena. See, y'all need to stop. All y'all,
Mm-mm.
y'all
Because
just
we
need
know.
to stop.
That's what I asked you. See, you ain't even know. That's why I just asked you. I needed to
I mean,
ask you the
that is
question.
no, but I'm saying that when if you're possessive of someone or you're obsessed with someone, that I'm just saying that it gets into the dangerous cray part. It's like it starts to get a little, you just a little crazy. You need to back off,
Mm.
and we just gonna end this right here.
That's what you think we gonna do?
Right. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
It's
saying.
like a
So,
jungle sometimes. It make me
oh,
wonder.
oh Lord have mercy. On that note, I'm moving over to crazy lady. Crazy lady, what do you want to add to the conversation? Because chill. Oh, he ate your spaghetti. What, Deborah? See, I don't even know what y'all. I don't even know what you're talking about now. Crazy lady, you
I
have the
don't know
mic.
nothing now.
All I was to say was, you rock. That is so false, dude. I knew I was with a guy for a while. In bed, the man had skills. Okay, solid 10 all the way. Boom. But out of bed, no, he had to go. And I wasn't obsessive over that. I don't know. It's just some people tend to get obsessive. And the way I look at it, it's not love if you're constantly interrogating the other person on like who they're talking to, where they're going, blah blah blah. That's a sign of distrust. And if you don't trust a person, then how can you? I mean, that's not really love. That's just being obsessive.
So if you are married and for whatever you disagree with what Crazy Lady
I
said?
disagree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What she's saying is crazy. That's not obsessed. What she's saying is just that's crazy. Crazy is crazy. I don't necessarily
How's
know
that crazy?
upset and crazy go along together. Like if you upset, you're really into them to the point to where it's just like you don't necessarily want them hurt. You know what I'm saying? You just into them. And like I'm saying, like I've been around people, or I've had unfortunately situations too, where they just want to be in your every thing. You know what I'm saying? If you leave them, oh, would you want another girlfriend? Oh, that's okay. Oh, you want another? We could try whatever you want to try. Like it's just, it ain't necessarily, what I mean, they want to hurt you. They're just into you. Like that's what I'm thinking of obsessed. Now possessive is different, I think, because they're gonna try to. No, you can't. Nobody have you. Can't where you can't go out. You know, that's what the good penis do to a woman, or coochie do to a man. You know what I'm saying? But obsession a little bit. I think is a little bit different. Because I've had both and been in both situations.
Crazy Lady, you want to respond to that?
I mean, like if a person just wants to hang out with you and shit, I mean that's cool. But like to where I don't know. I'm that person. I believe that couples. There's some couples that they have to have they have to be in each other's like every waking moment. You know, I personally believe that it's healthy for people to have like outside interest outside of their relationship away from each other. It gives them a chance to grow and stuff uh, by themselves too. You know what I mean?
Crucible, you want to chime in?
Well, I think one of the things I think that people struggle with, we all struggle with when it comes to love, is there's no universal definition as to what love is. Now, obviously, there are possessive and obsessive things that would not seem to be along the lines of love, but love means different things between different people. I remember a long, long time ago. I'll be brief with this story, but it was an Andy Griffith episode, and there was a couple in town that were just at each other's throats constantly. I mean, just constantly. But they were as nice as pie to everybody else in town. Well, Andy sat them down to try to get them to be more polite to each other. And at the end of the episode, they were "Good morning, honey. Good morning, dear." But it was all phony. It was all forced. And while they were being real nice to each other, they were turning on everybody in town. They were snapping at people. They were yelling at people. They were arguing with people. And so Andy finally came to the realization that maybe that's their version of love, when they're picking at each other, when they're criticizing each other. And so he kind of reversed the whole thing. And he said, you guys go back to doing what you were doing. And when he left the house, he could hear dishes being thrown at the, and it ended up being a happy episode. You would never be able to get away with that today. But my point is, from the outside looking in, we don't know what they've decided love is. It's a very personal thing. There's nothing universal about, you can't pick up a Webster's dictionary and look up love and have a universal definition and everybody goes, yep, that's it. So again, I'm steering clear of obsessive and possessive and anything that goes into harm's way. But when it comes to deciding what love is, if two people want to quote unquote possess each other and be up in each other's stuff all the time and just be goo eyes and everything like that, then that's what they've decided. If they want to pick at each other and criticize each other and do that, then that's what they've decided. It's a very personal thing. So from the outside looking in, we tend to want to judge everything as to how we would do it. If you're not doing these things, you can't possibly be in love. You can't possibly love that person if you're not doing this, or if you are doing this. It's a very subjective thing. So I think whatever two people decide, quote unquote, the word love means, then that's what it means.
Okay. Well, one thing I do agree with Crazy Lady when she said that you have to have, you have to have some, you can't be around that same person all the time. And I do think it's unhealthy when you have some couples who, yeah, you want to do everything together, but you need to have some other friends. You need to have, someone else that you can hang out with, or, whatever. I am 100% for that. I believe that, just, I just do. Um, uh, but when does obsessive love, like, do you know if a love is turning into obsessive and possessive? Now Brina said, let's see, obsessive is when they want to be all up under you all the time. Possessive is more when they want to control you. But don't you think that, again, I come back to, don't you think that if someone is being obsessive, that's also a control way? Because if they want to be up under you all the time, it's still like, you know, where are you going? What are you doing? I want to go, whatever. They're controlling you in a sense that I can't move two feet without you being there. So you're kind of controlling some of the things that I'm doing. So chill.
Okay, so this is awesome because my last relationship was close to this. Like she wanted access to my phone. She wanted to be intertwined with every single thing, which I think naturally she was like that. So if she didn't get it, it would raise flags for her. She wanted to be intertwined in every single thing, and I understand what she's saying. If I ain't got nothing to hide, you ain't got nothing to hide. We can go back and forth. But she was also a person that was possessive, and so she didn't like me getting hugs to big titty women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what to do. I'm a hugger. I'm a personable person. You're not gonna tell me what not. I mean, I'm not about to lose myself in a relationship for nobody. I've done that in my 20s. You start doing stuff. If you start changing your every being just because somebody don't like it, you lose yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm not gonna do. So I'm gonna put my foot down. I'll adjust accordingly, but I'm gonna put my foot down. And whether you like it or not, it's gonna be on you. You can kick rocks. Um, so we can figure this out, or we can not. And that's kind of how it went. Because I could tell you a bunch of stories. I mean, this woman was definitely possessive to the point to where she was following on a freeway. When I get mad and want to leave, she right behind me. Like, oh shit! I look up, she right behind me. She's amazingly found me on the damn highway, right behind me, like the Wicked Witch, like calling me. Brr, brr, where you going? Brr, come back home. I reached the turnpike, and she like, I'm about to be out of gas. Quit playing. I'm like, was your ass just about to be out of gas? Cause I'm about to keep going. So I had to drive 3 hours away just to get away from her ass. So that's when you know you're in a bad toxic relationship. She did have her own issues, so I tried to take that in consideration. But when you got children involved, that's not a good look. And so I had to move. I kind of shut down, and she kind of moved on, to be honest, because she just couldn't trust it. And I'm okay with that. That's what happens when you get baggage, though. You need to handle that shit and before you get into it. So if I do open my phone, every text you see from a woman or whoever, it won't be like, oh, who is that? You fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't deal with that. I'm a grown man. I ain't got to answer to nobody. If you're going to trust me, you're going to trust me. Whether we've been through some stuff in the past or not. You just got to I'm going to afford you that courtesy. You got to give it back to me. And we're going to have to move forward or we just don't be together.
So when you say that that's obsessive and possessive at the
Yep,
same time,
yep,
that situation,
yep,
that was,
yep.
and okay, and
And
that can,
toxic
and
and
toxic
dangerous.
and dangerous, right? So this is what I'm saying, that possessiveness and obsessiveness, and okay, and chill, let me ask this. Do you even think, was that even love?
Yeah, it was love. I think she loved me. She just did. Listen. When you go through so much, whether you take yourself through it or not, you still go through it. Your mama can tell you don't date that dope boy because he ain't nothing. You get in that relationship, you know better. Your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, everybody done told you not to do it. You do it anyway. He whoop your ass. He keep you in the house. He do crazy stuff to you, and then now you still got issues. And the part is that pisses me off because all men become this, right? When you get a jerk, you but then a jerk, and so that all that happens. And so you get 2 or 3 of those relationships. Now you just scorn, or you haven't handled your shit, before you get to the next relationship. You just keep going into relationships without healing. That's to be expected. And sometimes you can't work on certain things without being in a relationship. You can't handle your jealousy without being in a relationship. So you may have to go. As a man, you gotta understand she's been through a lot, and she may have her moments. But if she's willing to fix it, that's cool. But if you're not, I'm not about to live in misery with your ass. That's not what's about to happen. So we can move on. If you can't fix that shit, but we're gonna have to both agree. Like, you gotta agree that, hey, this is an issue. You got a temper problem. You got a jealousy problem. Is that something that needs to be adjusted? Because I don't want you to do shit for me. I need you to do it for yourself, then your kids, and I could be a byproduct of how you work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I just need you to do that. But other than that, I don't want to be the reason why you change, because that's, like I said, that's how you lose yourself. And then when you do change, you're gonna be blaming it on me when it don't work out. Well, I did this and I did. Well, that wouldn't. That's not the reason you're supposed to be changing for anyway. So, yeah, that can, yeah, that those situations, you just got to be patient as a man when women has been through some things, whether they provoked it or not.
Okay. All right. I want to pass the mic over to
Men
Frankie
too.
because she had a question for Brina. She says, but is it adoration or obsession? And she was referring to Brina's question. I don't think, or statement, I don't think obsessive is controlling because they just adore you that much. And that's where Frankie says, but is it adoration or obsession? And then then Brina replied, oh, that's good. I I think adoration is more mild. So, is there a difference between someone who really adores you? Like, can you have someone who adores you so much it turns into obsession, or are those two completely different things? So, chill. I'm sorry. Crucible. Crucible.
Yeah, I think depending on where you're situated in a relationship. I mean, we can get into all kinds of semantics about adore, um, obsess, in love, admire, and they're all kind of variations on a theme, right? I mean, they're all basically pointing to the same general sentiment. So I would suppose that if it depends on which end of the equation you're on. If you're the person who is really over the top over somebody and you're crazy in love and you're calling them and you're going to their house and whatnot, in your mind, you may say, I just adore this woman or this man. I just adore them. However, the person on the receiving end may say, this person is obsessed with me. This person is crazy. So again, you can put any kind of label you want on it, but it depends. Do both people agree that those are the right words we should be using in this relationship? Do we truly adore each other? In other words, we have very strong positive feelings for each other, or are we obsessed with each other? Like Chill was saying, are we at a point where now we have an anger problem? We have a jealousy problem. We have a I can't let you out of my sight problem. So, you can put any word on it you want to, but if the two people involved don't agree that those are the right words to describe the feelings involved, then you're going to have an imbalance. And there's never going to be a meeting of the minds because someone is in the process of adoring someone while someone else is in the process of being obsessed about. And I think it's a subtle difference, but it's a major difference in the eyes of the people in that relationship.
Well, I also think that obsessiveness, if you're obsessed with your partner or your wife or whomever, I think it can also ruin your relationship with people outside of your household, meaning, your friends or your family. And I say this because I had a friend years ago. Um I'm not in contact with her anymore. In fact, she's not in our, little group or whatever you want to call it. Because every time we went somewhere, her husband wanted to go. And if we were going to go to the movies, if we were going to do a girls' weekend and go up to Ojai or something, it was always where he always wanted to go. And I'm like, my husband does not want to hang around a bunch of women, and if we went out to lunch, or if she invited us over and we were just sitting outside, he came and literally would pull up a chair and he was always there. So finally it got to the point where, some of us, and I probably was the ringleader of it, but, we're going somewhere and he's getting into the car and I said, I don't want to go. Can you drop me off at home? And everyone else knew the reason. And then she said, why? I said, because this is supposed to be a girl's thing. Why is your husband here? Why is he always coming? And I said this, yes, I said it in front of him. And then one other, girl or lady said the same thing. And so I ended up going home. And then after that, she wasn't really asked to go anywhere anymore. And, and she felt bad, and, looking back on it, I do feel somewhat bad for her. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you had to have known that this just wasn't cool. And I think that when you have people like that in a relationship where, your significant other always wants to be there, or you go somewhere and your mom always wants to go, or, you go somewhere. I mean, it's like when you're little and your little brother, sister, your parents say you got to take them with you. I mean, after a while, you're like, okay, well, if I got to take my little brother with me everywhere, I'm not going. It just ruins it for everybody else. So, what do you all think of that? And Shy Lady, I see that you are supposed to be on my panel, but I do not see you. So,
Can you see me
and
now?
there you are. It's interesting. So, are you turning on your mic because you just happen to pop up? So,
I've been on for quite a while, just listening.
okay, I have not seen you, so maybe you just had to put your mic on. So,
Yeah, I didn't have the mic on. That was the thing. I didn't have the mic
okay.
on.
All right. So, what do you think of, since you've been listening? What do you think of what I just said, or what Chill said, or Crazy Lady, or
Well,
Crucible, the chat?
I think that love is definitely different, means different things to different people. I'm sure everyone probably heard about the love languages and all of that, and agape love, stoic, erotic, and all that kind of stuff. And and even the Bible talks about what love is. And going back to what you said about the friend, I think that her husband is insecure, or he was. I don't know what happened with them, but I think that particular person was insecure, and I think the wife was weak for not speaking up, unless she actually wanted him there. But it's hard to believe that she wanted him there every time she wanted to go somewhere. But I think that you know, like I think it was Crucible Man who was saying that um, love is different things to different people, but it also some people even say this too. It's putting up with a lot of people's stuff, and it's especially if you're married, because if you're not, and then you have a choice. Love also can be a choice. You don't have to put up with it. If you don't want to hang in there and stay with that person, you can always leave. But there is I know there's a scripture that says love is patient and long suffering and all of that kind of stuff. But it's definitely a choice for sure. And like I said, it depends on your level of what you can deal with, and what you and that person are bringing to the table, and if you want to stick around. But it's not easy.
Okay, so Lou Rock, you're saying, don't you want to be around people you love? Now, are you referring to what I said about my friend and her husband, or because I don't think there's any, because I don't think there's anything wrong with being around people you love, but can you not be you know, you have to be there constantly when that person you love is trying to hang out with some friends or family or whatever. I mean if my husband wanted to go with me everywhere, it would drive me absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm like, no, 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 you cannot go. So I don't know. I mean, when you start coming in between other relationships, there's a problem. And Brina says there's no need to be up under somebody all the time. You're absolutely right. Like sometimes, when your kids are constantly up under you, you're like, can you just give me a moment, please? Please, can you just give me a moment? So I don't know. Brina, you can't go nowhere. You are so silly. Okay, that seems unnatural to want would be someone. I mean, yes, it does. I mean, even if you all are in love with each other, it does seem unnatural that you just constantly want to be with someone all the time. So chill. You want to add into this, or you good?
One thing Crucible said was awesome, that people's definition of certain things are different. So what I would say is being personable. The person I was with on a couple different occasions would say it's not you, it's them, and it's disrespectful because you're letting them get over on me. They like when women know they got the energy to like I hug your man, but like that's some people are personable. I would think I would know this person enough to where I don't even think they like that. But maybe you feel like it is, but I think what's the big deal with that anyway? I didn't get it. But it was just a respect factor for them. That's what they would call it. It's not it's just a respect factor. You don't want me to feel some kind of way. So what do I do? Do I refrain from being myself? Or do I adhere to your rules and regulations that I don't deem uh viable? Because my intent is not bad. Like that's you worried about somebody else now. I felt disrespected. You're right. I felt it as a disrespect because you don't trust me as a man. Like I would just be hugging some women that I had sex with. So even if I did have sex with them, what's a hug? So you worried about me hugging another person and how it's gonna make you look because you hugged them to them? Like you're not even worried about us at this point. And on top of that, it's 2 hours later, we're still arguing about it. And guess where that person is at? Still at that bar because we left early because you was pissed, or that party because you was pissed, you was uncomfortable, and you got more. If that's the case, they won. If they were trying to do that, then you let them win. Because I'm gonna be myself. So you got to figure this out. So that was the thing. Like it was a different definition of what disrespect was. And I'm thinking to myself that those are operational definitions that typically you have to sit down and figure out in a relationship. What is love? What is disrespect? And some of it's you're gonna be like, damn, this is ridiculous. And that's how you know it ain't the one. Even though she may have checked a lot of boxes, some of those things just you can't avoid. And so you just got to get the hell away.
Okay. Crucible.
Well, one thing, the thing about love is you were making a comment about your husband and wanting to go places with you, and it's probably not the same thing as I'm about to say here, but it seems like we're talking about this
No,
condition.
no. Let me correct something. Not my husband wanting to go places with me all the time.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That was a friend's. That was a
Oh,
friend's
right.
husband wanted to go. Not my husband.
All right. Well, I'm probably talking apples and oranges here anyway. I'm mixing my metaphors, but when we're in this phase that we're talking about here, where people are irrational and they're engaging in these, thoughts of adoration and obsession and possession and things, that's a fairly short period of time. I'm guessing you don't have those kinds of things in long-term relationships or long marriages, because that phase of the relationship is over. The phase we're discussing is not a long-term permanent thing. If it is, you've got an abusive relationship potentially. But the period of time we're talking about here, let's say it's 6 months, maybe a year for some people. But the really crazy, I can't live without this person phase doesn't last that long, really. It's a 3 to 6 or 8 month period. And then people kind of revert back to who they really are. So if somebody is acting kind of goofy and acting obsessive and possessive in that first phase, 6 months, whatever it is, you're probably both acting a little irrationally. You wouldn't be in that relationship still if one person felt so strongly and the other person didn't. You would end the relationship in that beginning phase because you have nothing built yet. But if you make it past that phase and somebody is still now being possessive or obsessive or borderline abusive, now that person is showing you who their personality, who they really are. They can't fall back on that temporary insanity, hormones, chemical storm, chemical imbalance, whatever the brain is rewiring itself for. You can't fall back on that after that period closes. Now you are who you are and you have to defend your actions as this is who I am. I'm a possessive, I'm an obsessive, I'm an abusive, I'm a jealous, I'm an angry, whatever the fill in the blank is, you are going to have to own your personality at that point. And that's when people have to make decisions. Okay, I get why he did this, she did this in the beginning. Now it's turning into something else. And then you got to make a decision. Are we on the same page in this relationship with regard to what we both want? So I think it's important to point out this phase that we're talking about should not be a permanent phase. It should come and go, and then people settle into who they are, and then you decide, do I want to be with this person or not? When the playing field is leveled and the dust has settled, what do we got here?
Okay. All right. So in those, I'm reading some of the chat. Blue Rock says the honeymoon stage when people aren't married. Jill says it changes when they get tired of you, get bored. Tell them no. My honeymoon stage lasted 3 years, and then I found the dark secret and was toxic ever since. I agree with you on that, Lou Rock. Honeymoon stage different from married people. And again, I go back to, some people think that marriage could probably only last 10 years because you would get tired of that person. That can you really be with someone, in love with them or loving them for 50, 60, 70 years? You look at someone like Rosalind and Jimmy Carter. They've been married for like 75 years. Are they that rare couple who are probably, I mean, I don't know them, I don't know what their marriage is like, that they're probably still in love, you know, um, as opposed to people who stay with people because either financially they can't go anywhere, or, they're just at a situation where, you know what, I've been with this person for so long, I'm just going to stay with them. Um, you know, what about that? Do you think people who are in marriages for a long period of time, that they're still truly happy with the person that they started out with? And I'm just asking the question. So, Shy Lady, I will go back over to you. Shy Lady, you there? Okay. I will go to Chill.
Well, Solid, you got to answer that question first. All right? You married? I don't know
I
you
think
married.
I have been answering the questions. I mean, I
So
mean,
you
I've
what?
been
I'm not
saying.
clear. What's your opinion? Is it
I mean,
what now?
I think that after a while, depending upon, I think there are, put it like this, I think there are more relationships out there where people who have been married for a long period of time, where people just get comfortable and they just they just move through the marriage, whatever, but are you really in love with that person? Are you really loving that person? I think some people just go through the motions. I think you have very few people who are actually to the point where they've been married for a long period of time, where you actually really love that person. So I, you know,
I mean,
so
you gotta love the person. I think that's the given, right? You gotta love the person
well,
at the
I
very least.
mean,
You might be bored with them, but you gotta love them.
okay, but even if you do love them, chill. I mean, is it still what you want out of that
Relationship.
relationship?
Got you. Got you.
Do you want more? And before you came on, I had mentioned my parents. I mean, my parents were married for 60 years. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, literally, I mean, my sister and I we would ask my father, because my mother was a very, very complicated person. And we would ask my father, like, how did you stay married to her for so long? And he would just kind of look and laugh and, whatever. But I think it could have been, I don't know for sure, but it could have just been that comfortable thing. And people
Okay.
in his generation, they tend to stay married longer, whatever, whereas now people are getting divorced, sometimes over ridiculous stuff, but that's them. But I'm saying, do you get to a point in your relationship where you're just comfortable, as opposed to where you are really still wanting to be with this person?
So you mean comfortable as in not wanting to leave because you just better off staying where you at?
You're better off. It could be a financial thing. It could be like, you know what, I just don't feel like trying to get into a relationship with someone else. I don't feel like going down that road. I'm too old for this, or I just
Mm.
whatever.
Yeah, I know that definitely is a real thing. I think that if you're in it that long, but often that doesn't happen, right? So that's rare. Um, Somebody in the relationship that long, but what does happen, we get bored or we get comfortable. I don't think a bad thing. Getting comfortable with someone isn't a bad thing. Not putting effort into your relationship maybe even was worse. And I don't think that's necessarily just because you put the effort don't mean you're not comfortable. You want to be comfortable with someone. You want to be able to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to confide in them and open up to them. So being comfortable is important. I wouldn't want just a business relationship. I don't want to be, I don't know, what's her name? Ivanka or Ivana Trump. I got to work out every day, eat spinach for the rest of my life, because if not, if I get fat, he's gonna leave me. Like I'm just saying, if that's the case, who knows? But I wouldn't want to be in that type of situation. It would keep you on your P's and Q's. I feel like if you're searching for like superficialism or materialism or money, you know what I'm saying, you got to keep up a certain persona. That's not even love to me. But that's business arrangements for some. So that's marriage. That goes into what defines marriage for some people. But if you're just going off of the fact that I love this person and he loves me, and the religious aspects of it, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stick with your wife through thick and thin, or your husband through thick and thin, right? So that's natural. That's why they do it. That's why they do it, because they married the person that they're supposed to die with. That's how you're supposed to do it. There's nothing wrong with your. That's the religion they believe in. That's how it is. That's normally how it goes. And I don't think marriage is supposed to be euphoria. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be like, I walk around with a boner every day. It's not happening, right? So this is what I think is a satiation that comes from it. Just knowing that the person you're with, I'm supposed to be with them. We're gonna have some ups and downs. They're gonna get my damn nerves, but they're the person I'm supposed to be with. I can't see myself without them. It's gonna be it's a satisfaction type deal more than just like oh my gosh, like it's just that ain't. I think that's the misinterpretation of some folks. They're looking for that high, like it ain't crack. Love ain't crack. It's more just it's mellow. It's a mellow thing.
Yeah, but some people, they want that crack love. Some people, they want, to be in a situation where, you know, um, they want to have something more than just coming home and speaking to someone and say, "Hey, how are you? How are you? How was your day?" Again, that's why I say it's that comfortable. You people just get comfortable, but they're just kind of, I don't know. Shy Lady, you said your mic is working again, so you have the mic.
Hey, okay, I'm back. What was the question? I'm sorry, you had asked earlier and I couldn't get my mic on or whatever.
I was basically,
Or you can go to something else
Asking,
and ask. It's fine.
no, no, just no. Just that we say so much. We just say so much. When people always say, "What did you say? What did you say?" Just that we've said so much. Um, Basically, it's like the people who are comfortable with each other. I mean, do you think that when you get to the point where you're comfortable, that you're still looking for something, that you have the people who just still want something more in that marriage as opposed to what it is?
I kind of agree with some of the things that Chill has said. He said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just kind of paraphrasing. It's okay, I think, to be kind of comfortable in a way, because if you want to be able to feel like you can be transparent with your mate or whatever. So I think in that sense, but some people get too comfortable and then they take the other person for granted. That can happen as well. But going back to what you were saying about people being married for that number of years, like Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind or whatever, or Rosalind, I can't remember how she pronounces her name, but I do think that people married that long or back in those days, they just tended to put, now I shouldn't say put up with more, because you could actually really like the person. But let's face it, I don't care if you're in a relationship with somebody that's a really really nice person. You're not gonna agree on everything. You're not gonna think alike, and it's you have that choice. Some in these day and ages, people will divorce in a minute, in a quick minute, quicker than you can make oatmeal. They'll divorce because they just don't get along with that person. They don't agree with them. And in the old days, my parents were married for almost 61 years before my father passed away last year. And my father was not the easiest person to get along with. He was he had a very dominant personality, nice man, but a great father. But he was a very dominant person, and he was so opinionated, very very opinionated. Sometimes my mother would just remain silent because she was like, there's no use arguing with him because he sees it this way, and the only way that you could get him to agree on something is it would have to be dead in his face. I mean, it would have to be like right up front in his face for him to say, oh, okay. And I don't think I ever heard in my life him say he was wrong about anything. But you have those kind of people, but when you look at positive side, their positive side exceeded a lot of the flaws you see. So people would stay together. But like I said, nowadays, people have a tendency to run and get a divorce because they can't deal with the person's flaws. But even the nicest people have flaws, so it's just part of life.
Okay. Okay. Crucible.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding like Dr. Phil here, you guys all make really good points. Relationships in marriage and whatnot, whether it's a long-term relationship where people are together for 40 or 50 years and they never get married, or they married for 50 years. I think people probably agree, and maybe not, correct me if I'm wrong, but we all go from the phase of being in love, where the other person can do no wrong and they walk on water, to gradually just being in love. I'm sorry, not in love, to loving that person. So it's a very subtle journey, but it takes place over a period of months, and you find yourself saying, well, a year ago he or she would have done this. They would have come and picked me up from work, or they would have bought flowers for me, and they don't do that anymore. So should I evaluate this relationship, reevaluate, I should say, is something wrong, when in fact you're just transitioning? Human beings are not wired to be obsessively in love ad infinitum into eternity. It just wouldn't work. We'd be exhausted by the end of the first month. So we transition into being in love to just loving. And I think that probably what happens, it's a subtle difference, but I think it's an important difference because things are going to happen differently when you're loving someone than when you were in love. I know it sounds like I'm playing with words here, but I think they're important distinctions. So I think what ends up developing is more of a friendship than a quote unquote in love relationship. You're not as obsessed with with impressing the other person anymore.
Okay, first of all, you are going in and out.
I'm not sure what's happening. I've not moved since we started the show, so I'm sorry about that. If it keeps up, just let me know and I'll jump off. So we transition, I think, from a obsessive, possessive, crazy kind of love into more of a friendship, and it's comfort there at that point. Its expectations are being met. There's trust, there's reliability, there's transparency, there's honesty. You know what to expect from the other person. We're in that I'm in love phase. You don't know each other that well. You're still not sure what to expect. You're still feeling each other out or up in some cases. And so I think what people get caught off guard on sometimes with relationships is those transitional phases, and we don't know what to make of them. But once we're in a relationship for 10, 15, 20 years, we know each other. We have not necessarily designs on leaving anymore. We're committed to it. We put up with more. We overlook more. We tolerate more. Things that we might not have been so willing to put up with in the beginning, we put up with now because we're friends now. And there's a different dynamic between us than there was when we were quote unquote in love, if that makes any sense.
All right. Shy Lady or Chill, you want to respond to that?
Well, I do think one thing, you got to be able to find that, like that find that thing again. Like I mean, I don't. I mean, you can be, you can be in love with somebody, and it can be last forever. But it's just like I said, it's high, it's levels to it, right? When somebody does something nice for you, you just feel like a different kind of feeling than when you just come home from work and they just getting on your damn nerves. Like it's just that don't mean you don't love them, so it's impossible to sustain. Like, oh, that it's just not sustainable. That don't mean you won't have it again though. Like that's why it's good for two people to work on themselves and their relationships. If they're getting bored, maybe try something different. It's up to them. That's what counseling comes through, and stuff like that. People go through ups and downs, and that's what you kind of sign up for. Is this the person that I'm willing? When I think about a relationship, I think about, is this the person I'm willing to go through hell and back with? Because I feel that they're worth it, and that's what I'm trying to learn when I'm meeting somebody. I'm not going to get too high, too low. I'm typically an even keel person. And so, it's going to be points where you may be high on them because they just threw your 50th birthday party. And now you're back having that feeling like it was in the first, when you met her and when you was 21 and y'all was, so those feelings can come back and forth, but I just think those are just, that don't mean you're not in love though. I think that's just everything needs balance, so yeah, I don't necessarily think that it has to be euphoria or in that word in love. I think if you with somebody, that's both kind of. If you with them, yeah, that's kind of both. You just may not just like, I don't know. Yeah, I'll shut up.
So, Chill, let me ask this. You are single, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, do you ever see yourself wanting to get married?
Yeah, but I mean, I've been in from when I was 25 to 30, I was in probably like three major, well, maybe four. I mean, 25 to about 4 years ago, I was in like three major relationships, and it just drained me, and they were kind of like about 4 or 5 years apiece, and so those things that I'm even speaking about, like they were unwilling to do. In some cases, I was unwilling to do because we didn't see eye to eye, and so I just told myself, what's the common denominator, right? So it was me. So I was thinking, like, I need to just chill back and learn, or maybe not necessarily. I knew myself, just pick or be more selective. And so if I can find that person, of course, I'll go all in with them because the people who I like, I really like. I love people in general, but I don't like them. You know what I'm saying? And they interest me, but I don't want to be around them. there's only like a good select few of people that I just want to spend my whole life and share everything with. I have friends like that, but not a whole lot. So if I find somebody that's the opposite sex that that I'm attracted to, that's a lot to put it together. But if that happens, hell yeah, I'm in. I'm in. I'm all in.
Okay, okay. Shy Lady, I'm gonna go to you. I have to write this down before I forget what my question is. But Shy Lady, you want to jump in on what either Crucible or Chill said?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, then I'm not gonna write this down because now I won't remember what it is. So, Chill. So on the marriage part, do you think that people who get married, let's say over 50, that they see marriage differently than someone who is in their 20s or even 30s? That the love aspect is different. They see the love aspect of it differently for if you're over 50 as opposed to if you're younger.
Oh hell yeah! When you 50, you ain't got no time to waste. Less is wham bam. We got 2-3 months. You can't figure this shit out. I'm moving on. That's how I go. When you 20, you got all the world. Hey, let's do everything together before we have kids, and let's do everything the right way. Let's buy a house together, and now it's so wonderful. We got out forever. So that 50 is like, oh no, listen, I don't even like the way you chew. You up out of here. I can't deal with that. Next up. You know what I mean? Or it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just, however, it's either or. You know what I'm saying? Because women I don't even care about a lot of that stupid stuff. Just make sure you paying the bills and you treating me, and you don't bring the bull crap home. You get that too, especially over 50. Like I've dated older women that they don't listen. They're like, listen. As long as you don't bring none of the bull crap, just come home every night. You good. So they get that too. They just stop caring about the little stupid stuff, and that's probably more so with the older women. They find out to them what's really important in a relationship. As long as you treat me right, handle business, and I have a good time with you. So yeah, I mean, that's it's a big difference, younger or older.
But do you think that, well, first let me ask this because Juju says, Chill, are you difficult to get along with?
Yeah, I meant to answer that actually. It depends on who you are. If you're stupid, yes. If you're intelligent, no. I believe, and it's obviously my thing. But I can be with a caring person. If the person's super caring, and then they're just like, say for instance, I got a friend that loves me to death. I love her to death, but she has a car problem. She's had a car problem for 2 months. I've spoken to her. I even referred her to a couple of mechanics. Her car still isn't fixed. She's calling me to jump her probably once a week. And I'm asking, and she's had money. She's gambled money up. I'm asking, why don't you go to get this car fixed? Well, it's 40 minutes away, and that's a lot. Well, we're sitting here right now for the last 4 hours in the middle of the day. What do you mean you don't have time? Things like that. I can't deal with. Like it's just I can't deal with that. So you just now I got to go out and jump you to take your to go out to you got to go to work, and I'm like I just don't like things like that, and it's just I can't certain things I'm not going to be able to deal with, and but others I mean I might be the same way. Like you don't do things like I need you to do it, but overall yes, I can be difficult at times, especially when it comes to children. That's the main thing. Other than that, I'm good with. As long as you ain't complaining to me about things you can't control. I mean that you can control. As long as you ain't complaining to me about them, and as long as you taking care of the children, I'm typically easy because I'll take the short straw in most situations. As long as I'm not losing myself in them, I'm good. I'll do whatever I need to do. But they're trying to ask me to change certain ridiculous things. I'm not doing that. But kids are normally the problem with me, like raising the kids, and obviously 25 to around 37, you women they have kids, and so if we disagree on how to raise those kids, that was one of the main aspects of probably why I'm single, and I don't fall for Jedi mind tricks, by the way, so that's another priority part too. But yeah, it depends on who you are, I guess.
Okay. Angie says, I don't want no drama. I want a simple life and wouldn't tolerate the same things I did. So, Crucible, you have any thoughts on people getting married after 50 as opposed to if you're younger?
Yeah, Chill Chill makes a really good point. Your time horizon is certainly different. That's an obvious one, but secondarily, you are a product of all the experiences you've had in your life, good and bad. And when it comes to relationships, you've you've been in a bunch of them by then. I'm guessing you know what you like and you don't like. You know what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate, and you're just a lot more sure of yourself. You know yourself better, and you know other people better. When you're 21 or 25 or whatever you are when you're young, you have no frame of reference about anything. You are truly a dumbass, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way. We're all dumbasses in our 20s, and so we have nothing to compare our relationships to. But when we're in our 50s or older, we've got plenty of frames of reference that we can use. So I think it just stands to reason whether we're starting a new job, whether we're starting a new relationship, whether we're moving to a new city, we are the cumulative products of our combined collective experiences, and then we're going to make different decisions about that because first of all, you're going to say, I can't afford either financially or emotionally to get a divorce in my 50s or 60s. I may have had a couple of them already. They took their toll on me. I can't do it again. It's one thing to roll the dice when you're 25 and say, I'm going to live forever. If I make a mistake, I'll get divorced and get remarried. Those are probably not choices that are available to you by either by your own choice or by just they're just not available to you. So you're going to make more calculated decisions because the fallout, if you make a mistake, is going to be different at that stage of your life than it would have been if you made a mistake when you're 25. So I think it's a huge differentiator getting married at that age versus when you're in your 20s.
Okay. Shy lady?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
you
Oh,
have the
sorry.
mic. Yep.
Sorry. Um, I I think it's definitely different because people in their 20s tend to not have had as many experiences, life experiences, as someone over 50. And when you're over 50, you're typically wiser. You should be wiser. So definitely the marriage thing is different. And I would venture to say that probably most people that are over 50 are probably not looking to get married. They're set in their ways, and they probably don't want to be bothered because they're already set, and they know, I've done this long. I don't have to deal with this. So probably choose not to get married. That's just
Okay.
me.
All right. All right. Um, I don't know. I kind of see people getting married after 50. I think those relationships would, number one, I think they would last longer. Just in terms of them not wanting to get divorced. And because they have the experience of living longer and probably being in different relationships, what have you. But, um, and I think that the way they love each other would be different from how younger people love each other. I think that they would truly, I mean, if they're getting married at that, late in life, I think that, they're the ones that would be in love for the rest of their marriage. I don't know. So anyway, I am going to start wrapping it up. So I will start with Crucible. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, this was an interesting topic just because love. I kind of chuckle out of the title when you had your posted your show. It said something about is love an unfortunate or some kind of a complication of something
A
simple,
silly
silly complication.
complication.
Yep. And my first thought was, whoever said love was simple. Um, it depends on it's always in the eye of the beholder because there's so many moving parts on that word love. But I think it's important when you're in a relationship, to kind of understand yourself first before you try to understand other people. But life, like life, is a trial and error experience. We're not going to get it right the first, second, or third time. Some people do, most people don't. But I think the important thing is to be true to yourself and to love somebody. I mean, there's a jazz program that I listen to here locally, and there's a guy who I really like who's on in the evenings, and he closes his show with this saying, and it sounds so trite, but it really, it's just very, very poignant. He says, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and tell somebody you love them. So if you have the ability, any of us, to tell somebody in your life that you love them, you're a lucky person. It doesn't mean you have to be in love, but the ability to tell another person that you love them is a precious gift. And I think we should all keep that in mind. But great talking to everybody. Great show. And thanks for having me, Solid.
Okay. Chill. Any last words?
I love you all. Sprinkles, everybody. Sprinkles. I love each and every one of you. That is a good point, Crucible. Great point. And my last words is that that's it. I'm glad everybody was here. I can see their faces and hear their smiles and their voices.
I'm sorry.
And
Were we
all of
on?
that.
Were we on video?
Oh gosh, I can still see them, y'all faces in my eyes. I feel like in my brain they pop up. You're smiling at me when I say I love you. You look at me dead in my eyes. If you're a lady, if you're a man, just watch yourself. Don't get too comfortable. But yeah, this is always a good point of my day. Great show. And by the way, solid. Great show.
Thank you, Chill. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
Jeez, good Lord.
TTYL. Capricorns on unicorns, eating candy corn, everybody. Espresso.
Oh.
And Frankie, I'm going to pass the mic over to you. And she says, everyone love and respect each other. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Frankie, for coming up. Shy Lady, you have the last word.
This show is funny. I'm loving the people. Chill. I don't know if you might have missed your comedic opportunity. You might want to get
Don't encourage him. Don't
you might want to
encourage him.
get you an agent. But
Don't encourage him, please, please, please,
yeah.
please don't encourage him.
Good show as always.
Yeah, I don't want to be like T.I. Have y'all been watching T.I. lately? The thing going on with T.I. trying to be a comedian. I don't want to be that guy.
You may not be that guy, but you're that other guy.
Yeah, T.I.'s around here doing comedy shows, and then it just keep getting booed in Madison Square Garden, I think, and stuff like that. He had a spat or issue with some lady on stage that she made a joke about his harassment charges or something. He tried to get on stage and take the mic from her and do it was been like, bro, you are the quintessential toxic masculinity that every feminist speaks about. He is that, and he's just getting a bad rap these past couple of about weeks, I guess. So yeah, I don't want to be. That's an art form. I don't want to go there. I'm just being myself. That's all you can be. Sprinkles.
Juju wants to know what channel is airing Ti.
With no channel. He's been doing like the Atlanta, like the comedy circuits, and he's been doing it for about a month and a half or something. And then what the issue is they're mad at him because he's getting on he's Ti, so he'll kind of like hijack a comedy show. Come to a comedy show, hey, can I get 10 minutes? And he'll be up there for 30 minutes. And if you're a club promoter, you're like, go ahead, let him do it. It's Ti. It's money, it's butts in the seats. So that's what he's been doing, and he hasn't really been through, like, it takes years for comedians to get to the where they, like, literally like 10 to 20 years that most, guys take to get to that height. And so it's just not. And he said it was easy too. He also said it was easy in the interview, and so him getting booed that next couple of days was really was karma, and the best or worst, depending on how you see it way. So yeah, I would never want to do that.
Well, Juju, you could probably catch it on YouTube. You can catch reruns of everything on YouTube.
Comedy hype.
So
Comedy hype talks about it. They talk about it. It's on YouTube. It's comedy hype.
you get that, Juju? Comedy hype. So yeah, I mean, let's see. He's pushing. Brina says he's pushing by using his platform. One
Yeah, he's not that
comedian,
funny.
I know where I'm supposed to be wrapping up, but you just opened it up for me. One person who I wish had lived, who would I think really have been
Can I
huge,
guess?
was Robin
Oh,
Robin
why?
Harris. He was funny. He was really, 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 really funny, and yeah. But anyway,
That
right.
would have been my thing. That he's my favorite comic ever.
Well, he has a CD out that I listen to in the car all the time. And every time I listen to it, I'm literally cracking up, just like side hurting, laughing because it's just funny as hell. It is funny as hell. So, anybody, Robin Harris, I know some of the younger people probably will not know who he is, but he is funny. So,
House Party. He's the dad in House Party.
yes. And he's also the one who did Bebe's Kids.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all right. So I'm going to take us out, and hopefully we will not have a repeat of yesterday with no interruptions, and people know who I'm talking about. Welcome, Scooter. People know who I'm talking about. So if that person would behave like Frankie says, I can take us out. So I am going to say my phrase. I am going to say, speak your truth and chill. I'm about to mute you. Stop it.
I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything.
Yes, you did. So stop it. Okay. So, Brina, stop. Just stop. Okay, Brina, stop it. Okay. So, and Feisty says, is he follow the drip guy? Follow the drip guy. I don't know who that is.
You better not rob no damn. Yeah, that's him. House Party. You better not rob nobody. Look at your damn head. All they gonna have to do is follow the drip. Talking about the dude in Jerry Curl when he came to his door. Yeah. He had a Jerry Curl, and he said, "You better not ever rob nobody because the police gonna find your ass." All you gotta do is follow the drip.
That's it. All right, and Bernie Mac was another one. Okay, talking about the Jerry Curl. Okay, all right. So everyone, speak your truth and go where the wind takes you.
That's what you was waiting on. She was waiting on me.
I don't want. Okay, y'all. Okay, I'm starting my music. Chill. I'm gonna have to. I'm telling
that's
you.
Our outro for now on. When I'm here, that's our outro.
To the back of the woodshed. And Frankie told you to behave yourself. Juju, stop it. Stop. And see,
Juju.
And you're adding wind? Are you serious, Juju? Seriously? Oh, Juju.
Come on, Sally. You do yours then. Mine's not good enough. You do yours then.
Oh, and guys, I will be doing a show on Friday. It will be, I will have no topic. I did one last Friday. I'm doing another one this Friday. It's called Freelance Friday. I have different music. Since someone was complaining about this music, I have different music already set up. So it will be at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So I know it's going to be a little late for people on the West Coast, but 9 p.m. Pacific time. So And tomorrow, don't forget, Jester is hosting my show, so please come tomorrow to support him. And on that note, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.